Hare Krishna. नहीं आवाज नहीं आ रहा। हरे कृष्णा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदनंदन जनरंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारि यमुना वनचारि यमुना तीरवनचारि यमुना तीरवनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन ब्यूटी फाउंडर आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिलादास ठाकुर की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11, verse number 54 and 55. श्रुत्वा तद् विस्मिता गोपा गोप्यश्चाति प्रियादृता प्रेत्यागतम् इवोत्सुख्याद् अक्षन्त त्रिषिते क्षणा. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When the cowherd men and women heard about the killing of Bakasura in the forest, they were very much astonished. Upon seeing Krishna and hearing the story, they received Krishna very eagerly, thinking that Krishna and the other boys had returned from the mouth of death. Thus they looked upon Krishna and the boys with silent eyes, not wanting to turn their eyes aside now that the boys were safe. Purport: because of intense love for Krishna, the cowherd men and women simply remained silent, thinking of how Krishna and the boys had been saved. The cowherd men and women looked upon Krishna and the boys and did not desire to turn their eyes aside. Aho batasya balasya bahavo mrityavo bhavan api ashid vipriyam tesham kritam purvam yato bhayam. The cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj began to contemplate. It is very astonishing that although this boy Krishna has many times faced many varied causes of death, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it was these causes of fear that were killed instead of him. Purport: the cowherd men innocently thought, because our Krishna is innocent, the causes of death that appeared before him were themselves killed instead of Krishna. This is the greatest grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangullangayati girim Yat kripatam mande Shri Guru Dinataranam Vanchakalpatarvesha kripa sindhavaicha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Just a second. Okay. The cowherd men innocently thought, because our Krishna is innocent, the causes of death that appeared before him were themselves killed out instead of Krishna. This is the greatest grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Prabhupada is mentioning what are the thoughts of the Brajavasis about Krishna. Radha Govind Maharaj, in one of his classes, he was mentioning that when Yashoda Mai used to say the stories about Narsimhadev, Lord Ram, Lord Varahadev, every day Krishna would be like story time. And every night Yashoda Mai used to think, Abhi, what should I say? What should I speak about? Then she would mention the stories of the Puranas, the stories of all the great personalities, of all the great kings, of all the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's how we should also be engaged in hearing the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And hence, while once Mata Yashoda was mentioning, Maharaj was saying that she was mentioning about Narsimhadev, how he actually ripped off Hiranyakashipu on his lap. And how Lord Ram actually made, the Setu till Lanka. And how he was victorious over Ravana. And one time she would have mentioned about Varadev, that how on his tusk he held the earth, not in his hand, not on his hooves, but on his tusks. And hence, Krishna, in the form, thinking that, that obviously he is the personality who has done all this. And he would get up on the bed and he would enact the same way as Narsimhadev, that I am the same Narsimha, I am the same Ram, I am the same Vara. And then Yashoda Mai, Maharaj says it very nicely. Yashoda Mai chastises Krishna, not even softly, very strictly. Murkh balak, you idiot, you stupid fellow, you ignorant fellow, you think you can imitate the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Who do you think you are? When you hear thunder, during the storm, you run to my lap. When you hear the meow of a cat, you jump in fear from the cat. And you are saying that you are the same Narsimha who actually killed Hiranyakashipu, from whom fear is also fearing, fear personified fears from Narsimha Dev. And here you are saying that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How ignorant are you? You should never say that. And then she would chastise. And Balram, on the other hand, would come and say that, no, he is telling the truth. I am the same Lakshmana, I am the same Ananta Shesh, on which the Lord actually has his sleeping pastimes with Lakshmi Devi. And then she'll be like, one more word from you guys and I'm going to beat you with the stick. And they'll be all scared. And so, the point which Prabhupada is mentioning over here, because Krishna is so innocent, that because of his innocence, nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go wrong to him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is protecting our dear Krishna. And that's how beautiful, the Brajavasis think. Even though Krishna exhibits so many times that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it doesn't affect their affection at all. For them, Krishna is their life and soul, whether he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not. Maharaj was mentioning that these qualities of the Lord, the name, form, qualities and pastimes, actually whatever we see in the world, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned that he is the greatest of all. Yes, he is the strength of the strongest. He is the intelligence of the intelligent. What does that mean? That he is the most supremely intelligent. He is the most supremely powerful, the most opulent in everything. Yes, he is the wealthiest. He owns everything. There is nothing apart from him. And still, when he is getting frightened from the cats and the dogs, he runs to Mother Yashoda and says that he's scared. He also forgets that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the power of Yoga Maya. And that's why Krishna is exhibiting these pastimes, these beautiful, sweet pastimes. Why? To attract us, the conditioned souls, to him. And that's why whenever we see something supremely opulent in this world, whether one is so beautiful, whether one is beautiful in their speech, whether their eyes are beautiful, their eyebrows are beautiful, whether, the fall colors are beautiful, the changes on the trees, it's all a spark of how Krishna is, Seeing, the beauty of the lakes and the rivers and the rain, our heart becomes so soft. It becomes so joyful. It is so nice to see all this, the change in our, atmosphere. But why is it beautiful? It is because it is a reminder about Krishna. It is an aspect of Krishna's energies. And that's why anything supremely nice we get attracted. Why? The question arises, why don't we get attracted to something very ugly? When we go into a dark alley and at night at 10 o'clock and you see those kind of people over there, standing with weapons and all, why do we get scared? Because there is something there is the unknown, there is the fear that something might happen. But in the daytime, the same place might not be that fearful. Yes. But why is that? Because it is Krishna's potency. There is no knowledge, and that's why it is fear. And that's why when people say that, this may be evolution, maybe this, maybe that, but how is science going to explain that why is one thing favorable and not the other? Because one thing is favorable, because why? Because we need to move ahead. Move ahead where? Move ahead to what? Move ahead to what? Even if there's an apocalypse right now, it does not matter. Who cares? If everyone is dead literally at this moment, how does it matter to the whole universe? If we don't consider that God exists, it really doesn't matter at all. From the same earth, you get a fragrant flower, and from the same earth, you also get a cactus. How is it possible? The varieties. No, it is because survival is the most. If survival was the only thing, why would the sense of survival be in the first place? What is the use of this advancement? To go where? Advancement in human technology for what? So that we can be invincible. But why? Does it really matter if everybody is dead right now? It won't matter to the animals. It won't matter to the forests. It won't matter to the rains. It is still going to rain in Arizona whether we are there to see it or not. If atheism is so true, and if all of these theories out there which debunk, so-called debunk the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it doesn't matter. Yes, we might be philosophically saying all this, but scientifically also, you can just observe. But to come to a conclusion, then you should not come to a conclusion. Science means observation, right? So just observe and give your observation. Why are you giving a conclusion? Conclusion means what? You're using your head, you're using your logic to interpret something. Yes, there are 2 sheep and there's another 2 sheep, and that's why we have 4 sheep. Yes. So the conclusion is that, no, but you can see there are 4 sheep. That's why it is a conclusion. That's an observation. But to come to a conclusion that yes, because evolution is true, and that's why this whole thing breaks down. No, that is your conclusion. You cannot be philosophical about it. So the whole point is that if it is just observation, and if you have to be impartial, then why not have the theory that maybe, there's a 50% chance that God exists. There is always. Why not? They might say that, because of evolution, this is this. No, but why not? Maybe Krishna has designed it that way. Isn't that a possibility? No, but you cannot say that. But why not? There's always that why not. Any amount of scientific evidence is not going to prove or disprove the existence of God. Why? Because He is beyond the senses. Yes, the creator and the created are always going to have there is always going to be a gap. You cannot use the creation to know the creator. It's like Maharaj was saying one time that you see a rock on the street, and then you can analyze and say how the tree grows from seeing the rock. No, there are 2 different things. It's like, and that's how whatever you see in the material creation, it does not matter. It's like looking at a rock, looking at this table and saying that, oh, that is how a mango tastes. How can you say that? It's beyond perception. And hence, there's always, a 50% this and that. So why not use it as a theorem? By the grace of Krishna, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur always says, maybe by the grace of Krishna, it will happen. Why? Because it is eventually up to Krishna to give it or not. And that's why anything we see, if we lose, the perception that it is a part of Krishna, it is how Krishna is, it is how a spark of Krishna is, then we get the benefit of being Krishna conscious. Why? Because the attachment to the material world for that second is gone. Yes, for that moment it's gone. You are not in the material world at that moment. You are in the spiritual world. Why? Because all these Brajavasis and the gopis over here, they are mentioning, they are just astonished that how? They are just connecting everything to Krishna. They do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, even though He shows. But their love for Krishna overpowers so much that they just cannot see that He is Krishna. Similarly, in this material world, we see that a mother and a child, however successful the child is, but when he is with the mother, the mother, she just remembers her small child. She's just going to see him as her own beloved child. She doesn't have the perception that, oh, this is, the prime minister of this place. No, she doesn't have that perception. Why? The love overpowers that. Yes? To this extent that the Brajavasis, even the slightest hint that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they just use it. They just use it. Like, the gopis will say to Krishna that, in the past, you don't know how to deal with women. We don't want to approach you at all. Because you don't know how to deal with women. Krishna is like, why? What happened? What did I do wrong? No, but you don't know. You're so evil. You don't know how to deal with women. You don't know how to talk. Yes? That simple lady. And then he's listening. What are they going to say? That simple lady, Surpanakha, she approached you and you rejected her. You and your brother are so evil that you cut off her nose and disfigured her. How shameless. You don't know how to deal with women. You first go and learn. They know the Ramayana. They know everything. But for them, it's not about that. It is about interacting with Krishna. It is about interacting with Madhavhari. Yes, Gopijana Vallabha, Girivaradhari. They are just enjoying the pastimes with Krishna. They just want to make him happy. Yes, they're smiling, they're chastising only for the pleasure of Krishna. Sometimes we think that we might also, do the same thing and then that will give enjoyment to Krishna. But no, it won't. Why? Because the second moment, it will be gone. Yes. But for them, it's eternal. They can give up their lives. They can eternally be in hell for Krishna. It doesn't matter to them. They have proved it again and again. And that's what Krishna told Uddhava to go and see in Vrindavan. And that's why over here the Brajavasis cannot imagine why would Krishna, he cannot be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he hears the thunder, he runs to me. I need to feed him. He's so hungry all the time. If I don't give him food, he becomes so fragile. Even a leaf, it gives an impression on the hand of Krishna. How soft he is. How can he kill all these demons? It's not possible. He cannot even carry the wooden shoes of Nanda Maharaj. This little boy cannot be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why is he getting protected? Because we are praying, because we are chanting the mantras properly. We are nice Brahmanas. Madhu Mangal says, because of the strength of my, Brahman qualification, that's why you, Krishna, are saved. It's because of me. And all the Brajavasis are praying and chanting for Krishna. Radhana Maharaj says this, that for an event like a birthday also for Krishna, the main thing they will do, they know how to chant the mantras. They will do all Om Keshavaya Namah Om Narayana. They'll do the Yachman, they'll do the bathing with the cow urine, cow dung. Yes. They'll do fire sacrifices. For what? For the pleasure of the Lord. For the pleasure of Narayana, so that he can protect Krishna. Yes. They will pray to Narasimhadev, please protect Krishna. Why? Because they are all engrossed in the loving service of Shri Radha Madhavari. And that's why Srila Prabhupada gives us the same benefit. Yes. He comes to give us the same rasa. He comes to give us the highest to everyone, even to the lowest. And what is the highest? Sarva dharmana parityajam mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshishami masucha. You don't worry, Arjuna. Abandon all varieties of religion. You come to me, you take shelter. Man mana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. You become my devotee. You focus on me and only me. If you are worried, Maharaj says, if you are worried about the papas, don't worry about them. I will take care of it. Yes, I will help you get out of all these pitras and shraddha and all of this. You don't have to worry. I will take care of your generation. I will take care of your mother and father. I will take care of your children. I will take care of your wife. Yes. It's not yours anyways. But if you are worried still, I'm here for you. Which person, which beautiful friend can say this? It's only Krishna can do this. He's the eternal well-wisher. Srila Prabhupada used to write, your eternal well-wisher. What does it mean? Radhana Maharaj mentioned, what does it mean to be an eternal well-wisher? It's hard to be a well-wisher in this lifetime. Maybe some years we are a well-wisher for, people. But after they die, after they are away, we cannot be their well-wisher. Yes, we can just remember them, but we don't wish for them. But Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, that he is eternally a well-wisher to all of us. Any small service done in this movement of Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada is eternally grateful. Radhana Maharaj mentions that even a small thing, whatever the disciples used to do, you should be so grateful. Yes, and he meant it. When he used to end his classes with thank you very much, he literally meant it. Yes, he used to say that I am an old man, how long can I go? Soon I'll be gone. Because of you all, this movement is going to go on. In 1967, I think it was 67 or 68, 69 somewhere, Prabhupada gets a paralysis attack. And he says to Brahmanand Prabhu and all of them, Jai Shishirana, and he says that you carry on this mission. I have given you, everything. You carry on just 4 years. Have faith in Krishna, chant His glories, just do whatever I have told and you will be successful. He gets on the plane and Maharaj mentions that they might not see Srila Prabhupada again. It was always a threat that he'll never come back. 24-hour kirtans, every few months, every few quarters, they will get a notice. The temples will get a postcard or a notice that Srila Prabhupada's health is gone down. And every few months they'll have 24-hour kirtans. And he is in Vrindavan, he's not feeling well, but he gets so joyful when he reaches Vrindavan. And with that jubilant, enthusiasm, he comes back. How grateful were the devotees? Yes, how grateful. When Srila Prabhupada even left for New York, for San Francisco the first time, he's going to sit in the plane for the first time. He came on the Jaladuta, 38 days journey. And now he's going to travel in a plane for a few hours. The first time, And he's going alone. He didn't bring along Brahmanand Prabhu, Garga Muni, nobody. How many months were there with Srila Prabhupada? There were only 6 months. And Prabhupada is ready, and he says, okay, he didn't even tell them what to do. He's like, you take care, and he leaves. Mahaprabhu, when he leaves for sannyas, the biggest obstacle he had was Sridhar Kolavecha. He brings that big pumpkin. And Mahaprabhu is like, what to do? I am about to leave, these people do not know. But what should I do? He takes for the last time, all of that. And he gets up and leaves. In the middle of the night. Maharaj gives this class for like 4 hours, for like 2 years back in Jagannath Puri. Why? And Srila Prabhupada just leaves. And then the next day, they both are looking at each other, all the devotees. Now who will give class? Now who will give class? He's like, I don't know. He's like, you give class. They're like, no. They're like, you give class. No. They're like, okay, we have to do this. So then they will just remember what Swamiji said and they'll just iterate whatever he said. And they'll follow whatever he said, by letters and everything. It's unimaginable to think only by letters Srila Prabhupada ran a worldwide movement. It's difficult to even run this temple. Even though we have phones, we have emails, we have WhatsApp, we have Instagram, still difficult to run. But Srila Prabhupada ran the whole movement just by letters, not by a phone also. When he got the phone, he's like, no, this is useless. He was right, it's useless. And still, only with the letters, he actually consoled everyone that, you are doing right. You continue doing Krishna consciousness. He gave, the standards of deity worship. He gave so many things through his letters. The standards of kirtan, everything. When did he find the time? There was no time for him. Only 10 years. That too, even 7 years. Because on the 8th year, he said that everything is done, I'm leaving. I'm going to fast. I have to leave. My work is done, I'm going back home, back to Godhead. People cried and cried. So many devotees, sannyasis cried. And then Prabhupada is like, okay. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj brings the fresh orange juice, a fresh glass of juice. I don't know which juice what it is, but he brings the juice. And then Prabhupada breaks his fast. So, Srila Prabhupada gives us the same which the Brajavasis are over here feeling. He has come to give us the same thing. And that's why we follow his instructions, how much ever we can. And then by the mercy of the Lord, then we might actually see it. Yes. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Yeah.
Lord also heartache by Brahmana, but he never forgot to heal the offering.
Yeah, it's his wish only. Yeah. Yeah, it's his wish only. It's like Vrinda Devi knows how to enact the pastime. Krishna knows when he can meet Srimati Radharani. But still he does not know. Because Vrinda Devi will decide when they will meet. Srimati Radharani also, she doesn't know. But it is because to enjoy the parakya and the separation, these pastimes are enacted in such a way, he chooses not to see it. He chooses, as like Prabhupada, somebody told Prabhupada, can you make a rock? Can Krishna make a rock which he cannot lift? And Prabhupada said yes. And then the next moment he'll lift it. So yes, he can make a rock which he cannot lift. And at the next moment he'll lift it also. So that's how it's because if in the material world also, if you see, sometimes the parents with their children, right? Sometimes the parents forget that they are prime ministers or presidents, and they behave like small children with their children, right? But they know they are the prime minister, but at that moment they just forget it also. It's both together, simultaneous. Achintya Bheda Ved Tattva. Both are going on. He knows, at the same time he doesn't know. So that's why the Brajavasis know, but even then they choose not to know also, like that. So yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.